they call the Pleasure Dome. When the pop historians come to look back at 1984, one image will readily come to mind. That of young people exchanging pounds, shillings and pence for pieces of plastic that come from Frankie Goes to Hollywood. This is the new Frankie double album. It came out 1 week ago. It's had 1 week in the shops. Tomorrow morning, when the LP chart is announced, it looks certain to be at #1 with record sales. A triumph and a Northwestern triumph. Frankie Goes to Hollywood come from Liverpool. And if you've been watching Granada through the years, well then you'll have at least experienced the career of lead singer Holly Johnson. Big in Japan, one of the premier post-punk groups out of Liverpool. Anything familiar about the bass player? Well, that's what he looks like now, at least in this rather Picasso-esque painting that adorns the front cover of the double album Welcome to the Pleasure Dome. But Holly didn't go straight from being a bass player to being the star frontman of the biggest group around. There was a middle period. How many of you remember this extraordinary piece of archive material? Granada's celebration program. Exactly 4 years ago, a young Liverpool lad finally found his voice and an acoustic guitar. It is clear from the video playing behind him that he was already on his way to Hollywood.
I drink in the saloon, red high noon. The spell is in the saddle and your ass is in the poker game. Yankee roll, I call your name. Yankee roll.
By the way, this isn't just a Liverpool success. As good as the record is, it isn't quite as good as the marketing. The marketing by ZTT, the record company, of Frankie Goes to Hollywood has been remarkable. And it has been masterminded by Paul Morley, a young man who was as much a part of the Manchester punk scene, he comes from Manchester, as Holly was part of the Liverpool punk scene. Mr. Morley, well, look at the marketing inside the album sleeve. Here, the giveaway merchandising, but it's Andre Gide t-shirts, Charles Baudelaire neckties, Edith Sitwell tote bags. This is strange marketing, though some might say that marketing is tacky, a question that Nonny put to Paul Morley in London earlier this week.
What tends to happen when a pop group reaches the stage that Frankie Goes to Hollywood have reached is that everyone, the kind of mysterious money people behind the scenes, who are actually quite nice really, I suppose, they decide that more money could be made out of it. So if you notice that albums by people like Thompson Twins or Spandau Ballet, all these big people, Duran Duran, they'll always have a tacky merchandising slip inside to send off for these rather dreadful and thinly made and shrink very quickly t-shirts. So really what we were trying to do was just trying to get a certain irony into that. I mean, if you notice what it says on the merchandising side is something about how if you were interfering with children to do with religion or politics, you know, parents would be absolutely horrified, but you interfere with them on a consumer basis and they're quite happy to help their young people to buy the stuff.
OK, it's nice and
so
ironic.
It's not tacky.
All right, but nevertheless the
it's
things
inevitable.
cost £24.99 and
well,
£10.99.
The complete set costs £95, I make no bones about it, it's absolutely incredible. But I get it, if you notice, there's pound notes behind.
Frankie say the marketing isn't tacky. Relax. And then there's the advertising campaign. Full-page adverts that are full of writing. There has never been such a literary advertising campaign for a pop phenomenon in the history of marketing.
I found out very early on how much these full-page advertisements cost, and I was quite horrified, so I wanted to make them quite entertaining, rather than just saying it's out now. So on one level, we have our tacky, cheap merchandising, dead nasty, and on the other side, we have very sophisticated existential advertising. So I think,
Existential advertising, or was it just the beat? Certainly it seems to have worked. When we said at the beginning of this piece that this looks certain to go #1 tomorrow, I was lying. I have inside information. It is going #1 tomorrow morning. Trevor Horn, the producer of this album in London, is said to be absolutely delighted and relieved. Although 1 million were ordered last week, that was the shops. The kids still had to go out and buy it. It appears they have done. Frankie say, well done. Switch off and feel. Well done.